Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Iceland and visit a brewery who I've done 2 reviews for previously. So we're going to go to Gæðingur Öl, who are from Skagafirði up in Iceland, and have a taste of their pale ale. I previously reviewed the Fætibjór and also the Tumi Humal IPA, both of which were beautiful beers, and I also know that this guy is a beautiful beer because I've had it on tap, but this is my first taste of the bottled version. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews, I'll take you through a very short history of the brewery. It is only 1 or 2 minutes, but just fast forward to the tasting if you want to go right there. Brewery website's in the description for you below, along with a link to the other reviews that I've already done from these guys, and will do hopefully more in the near future. So anyway, Gæðingur, as I mentioned to you, is a microbrewery from Skagafirði in Iceland, and it was formed with the intention of increasing the prominence of craft beer in Iceland. There are some very good, there's only very few breweries in Iceland, but the ones that are there are very, very good, and we probably will see more coming out of there in the very near future, and the beer is excellent quality up there. But the name Gæðingur actually refers to a thoroughbred horse, and this is a reference to the kind of many horses that you'll see wandering around Iceland. They're very, very beautiful animals. But the brewery is owned by Arnie, who is apparently both a farmer and a speech therapist, and he's helped out by Brigitte, who is a partner in the brewery, but she's also a seamstress as well, and they've also got a brewing assistant, Joel, who's there as well. So it's a very small kind of 3-man operation, and the brewery is run with a small 6-barrel brewery that was built in Britain apparently, and they also own the bar Microbar in Reykjavik, which is down in the town square near the townhouse and things like that. Very, very good little bar, and the guy behind the bar there really knows his beer. Very, very friendly as well. So if you do find yourself up in Iceland, go and check out Microbar and go and see all the sights there as well. Iceland is a really beautiful country, and the people are very, very friendly as well. So if anyone asks me about Iceland, I always say go and check it out and see for yourself. Probably one of the most beautiful places on earth actually, so the people from Iceland are very, very lucky to come from there. But anyway, to list the other beers that you can get from these guys, they've got 4 main beers that they brew. They've got the lager, which comes with the white label, pale ale, this guy here, which is the green labelled one. They've got stout, which is a black label, wheat beer, or Fætibjór as it's called, which has the yellow label, and they've also got Tumi Humal IPA, which is a purple label. And they also have a special Christmas beer as well, so I need to get up to Iceland at Christmas to see the Northern Lights one time and get a few of the different Icelandic Christmas beers, so fingers crossed I can do that again for you at some point. But anyway, let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself. Let me just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one. I quite like the artwork with the horse and things on that. As I said to you, Gæðingur refers to a thoroughbred horse, and all their beers have a different little horsey label on it there. It's just a plain bottle cap on this one. There's no back label to it, but it's nicely presented, and it has, you can have a little look at some of the Icelandic just on the side of the label there. Icelandic is an absolutely crazy language for you to try and learn. So I always felt bad when I went up there because they speak such good English, but I just do not have a clue about Icelandic apart from to say skal, which is cheers. So anyway, let's get this guy out and get on with the tasting then. So this is the pale ale from Gæðingur Öl. It comes in at 4.5%, as you can see. A nice kind of smoky opening there. It got a little excited. It obviously wants out and to be drunk, which I'm not going to complain about. So you can see, I'll just leave it to settle a little bit, but we can have a little look at the colour and stuff at the moment. I'll just bring up the camera and make sure you're seeing that. I can smell a lot of bread off this guy, and some of the nice grassy hops just as I've poured it there. So you can see it's got a nice kind of 2-finger frothy white head on it there. There are some bumpy bubbles in there too. If I put my fingers behind it, it's not transparent at all, but it's definitely a hazy, nice, bright, goldeny amber colour. There's some big bubbles just sticking to the side of the glass, but a lot of little ones just kind of pushing up through there. So we'll just get the last little bit of it out, and then we can have a smell of it. There's some sediment just coming out of that last little bit on the pour there too, but it looks an absolutely beautiful beer. I always like, this is one thing I missed when I was away in Australia and Japan and stuff, was having this little goblet glass, because it's so good for actually just trying beer and tasting it and stuff. So in terms of the aroma with this one, very grassy and citrusy hop coming out of this guy, which is lovely. So you've got a nice big floral, grassy, citrusy hop in the aroma, and there's some nice kind of, there's a nice kind of pale malt underline, but the most prominent component of the aroma here is definitely the citrusy and the grassy and aromatic-y hops there. There could even be a little bit of pine resin in there too. The website unfortunately is quite minimal, if you like. They don't tell you what kind of hops and stuff they use in their beer, but what I can tell you is, as I mentioned before, the Icelandic beer is awesome, so if you do see some of it, give it a go. But yeah, it's a nice big floral and grassy hop nose, some citrusy fruits, and you've got a big bit of pine resin in there as well, I reckon. But underneath you can just pick up a little bit of the sort of pale lager malt, actually. You can pick up just that kind of very kind of lightish bready aroma. But there is a kind of biscuity sweetness to it as well. But as I say, just take in a little bit of the aroma when you try these beers before you actually taste them. But yeah, a nice big hoppy aroma from this one, as you would expect with it being a pale ale. So without further ado, let's give it a taste and see how we get on. So this is the pale ale from Gæðingur Öl in Skagafirði in Iceland. Cheers. Yeah, really, really nice beer actually. Yeah, it's definitely, for a pale ale, it's definitely focusing more on the sort of aromatic and floral elements of the hops. Because their other one, the Tumihumal IPA, is more of a sort of American kind of fruity flavoured pale ale, and it's really, really nice. It's a nice big grapefruity but this one's quite different because it more focuses on the sort of citrusy and aromatic floral elements, and I really like pale ales that do this as well. But yeah, you've got a nice fresh aromatic and grassy hop flavour with this one. It's got a nice kind of dry edge to the tongue, and that's where you're getting the nice floral and aromatic and citrusy flavours around the edge. The citrus is kind of quite subdued. It is actually more of a kind of aromatic sort of spice that you're getting from this one, and the pine resin's mixing in there as well. So it is actually quite a bitter beer, this one, but it's done beautifully. It actually has a really dry mouthfeel when you take it in, and that just brings out the really nice hoppy elements of the beer around the edge of the tongue. But yeah, as I said, you've got a nice big piney, aromatic-y, spicy, slightly citrusy flavour just around the edge of the tongue. It's got that nice juiciness around the edge of the tongue, but at the same time it's a little bit dry. In the middle of the tongue you've got a nice kind of slightly biscuity sweetness. It's more of a biscuity sweetness from the malts than a caramel sweetness, but there is a little element of what I was saying, I think there is a little bit of a pale lager malt, and you just get that around the sort of back edges of the palate there, but in the middle I think you've definitely got a little bit more of a kind of biscuity malt, but it really is the hops are the most prominent thing in this beer. Yeah, just as the flavour builds you'll get a little oily feel, and that kind of pushes towards the front of the tongue, but I think that's where you're getting the sort of sweetness. You're getting a biscuity sweetness from the malt base, but it is more of a pale malt base, and as I say, you get that just around the edges of the back palate, but the most prominent component of the flavour really is the kind of aromatic and pine resin elements of the hops, and you do have a grassy element and some citrusy fruit in there as well, which the citrusy fruit comes out a little bit more in the aftertaste, but it's mainly a big floral and aromatic beer, this one, with the pine resin too. It's really nicely done. I like pale ales that do this. So in terms of the mouthfeel with this one, I'd say it's quite light bodied actually. It does have a nice kind of slightly oily mouthfeel to it, but it's quite dry at the same time, and as I said, the dryness really complements what they're going for with the hops, the big floral aromatic-y character of the beer. The carbonation on this one I would say is kind of moderate. It's a little bit higher than some of the ones I've had before, but it really does, as I say, it helps bring out the dry character of the floral and aromatic hops, and if that's what you're really into, I would say to you, give this beer a go if you're into your big kind of citrusy and aromatic-y sort of pale ales. But it's got a nice freshness to it because of that dry character, so you know, if that's the kind of beer you're into, definitely give it a go. I really like it as well. So it's got a good mix of the oily feel that helps bring out the kind of citrusy element of the fruit, but at the same time it's got the nice hoppy dryness, and the oily mouthfeel actually helps bring out the kind of biscuity sweetness, which is quite subdued in comparison with the hops as well. But yeah, overall it's a really, really nice beer. As I've said to you in this video a couple of times, the Icelandic craft beer is a really high standard, but there's only a few different breweries. So I would say, you know, if you want a fruity IPA, then Gæðingur Öl is what you want. But if you're into the more sort of citrusy and aromatic and dry ones, then you want to go for the green label pale ale. But they're both beautiful beers, just different styles, as I said. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. I hope those of you who've been watching my Icelandic ones over the last little while enjoy this kind of mini series that I've been doing for you. Go and check out Gæðingur Öl. They've got micro bar in Reykjavik where you can try all the beers on tap. Really nice little bar, so go and check it out. But as always, please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on this beer if you do happen to have tried it before. Always interesting to hear them. But I do have a few more Icelandic beers to review for you, and as I say, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will catch you soon with the next in my series of reviews. Cheers!